This is Eve Lodge Stables, home to George Scott Racing, and I'm here to see an old ally and hear about something of a comeback story. George Scott made a bright start to his training career before hitting a bit of a flat spot during COVID times. But 2022 saw a marked upturn in results, and 2023 has been another strong year for the team here. So what's the formula that's led to the winners flowing once again at Eve Lodge? Time to chat to George and find out more.
After a very bright start to my career, you know, things evidently started to drop off. You know, there's no secret. It's there in black and white, so we had to sit down and make changes. And fundamentally, it was just a change of mindset more than anything, from top to bottom. And that started in the sales ring.
I was going to say, how satisfying has it been when you've made a strategic change? And you talked about the other results 3-4 seasons ago. What about these results the last year or two? How satisfying has it been for you to see the turnaround in fortunes and, you know, the success in terms of strike rate, winners flowing? How's it felt around the yard?
Winners in racing, it's hard to explain really what it can do to the people around you. And you know, over the last couple of years, it almost felt like every door was shut, and now every door seems to be opening. And it's, you know, it's a great feeling.
Rocket Rodney, who wins the Coral Dragon Stakes.
But Captain Kane goes on to score for George Scott.
Facile win here for Isle of Jura.
Of course, we've got a long way to go. You know, we're well behind my targets that I set when I started training, you know, in terms of numbers and in terms of the quality of races that we've been winning. But, you know, when you're striking at 16, 17, 18%, as we have done consistently for the last 2 years, you know the quality will improve, the better horses will come along. And, you know, that's what we're all working towards.
And you said it's been a happy place. It's a team game, isn't it? You can't do this as one person. You rely on those staff around you, and you've built up a great team at Eve Lodge.
Yeah, absolutely. The staff really are the most important part of it, from top to bottom, you know. We actually took on an international license a couple of years ago, and so we brought some staff from all over the world into the yard, which has really been fun. And of course, my assistant Alex Mann has been with me since day one. Poor thing. She actually was an instructor on my when I went to do my courses at the British Racing School, and said that she wanted to change the scenery. probably one of the worst decisions she's ever made. But without her, you know, nothing would really be possible. And then, you know, we've got a couple of fantastic young sort of head lads and some great riders, really experienced riders that have been with me since the start, and some new faces as well. So we do have a very good team. You know, we've got a very kind team, nice group of people who all were working for the same thing. And
this team bring you a lot of energy, a lot of dynamism and a lot of ambition of their own to see George Scott Racing rise.
Yeah, I feel like they all, you know, we've got a team WhatsApp group, and I feel like after we have a winner, there's a lot of backslapping and cheering, and you know, they're not really gaining a huge amount financially. It's not their reputation really, you know. But if you build into it that they're a part of it, then they get job satisfaction. Yes, you know, and it's great, you know, and it creates a really lovely atmosphere in the yard, and something that it's hard to manufacture that at times.
Tell us what it's like training in this town, and the facilities that are available here, and where you make most use of, really.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a Newmarket fanboy, I'm not going to lie. I've always grown up hoping that I would train in Newmarket. I think it's the best place in the world to train racehorses. It's got the best facilities. You know, we sell horses all year here at Tattersalls, and we're looked after very well by the jockey club. You know, and I love training here. I'm not going to lie, it's taken quite some time for me to find my identity as a trainer, and I think that's another huge factor in our success. Is every trainer has their own identity. They specialise in something to a degree, and I feel like I was too busy chopping and changing, maybe looking over the fence at times. Yeah, you know, you got your best friends training next door to you, and you know, and they're all through town, they're all doing brilliant, and you're always sort of constant. But now I'm very content with who I am, what I'm trying to do, and how I'm trying to do it. Because in Newmarket, you've got every type of canter you could ever imagine. Well, I might just try that, I might just try that, but no, my lads know exactly what they're doing in the morning, where they're going, the speed they're going, and finding our identity as a trainer. it's definitely been a big part of the last couple of years.
What are the characteristics of George Scott Racing as you see them now?
I feel like now, if you said to someone, you know, what do you think of George Scott? You know, they might say, well, you know, they run a lot and they're tough, and the 2-year-olds are winning, and I feel much more comfy in my own skin now with a game plan and that sort of structure around me, I suppose.
And when we look back those 2-3 years, and we've known each other some time, I know how hard you were on yourself, but when you reflect on those times now through the prism of some good times, what do you think about that period of your training career? Was it tough?
Yeah, it was very tough. It was there were days, a lot of days where you really wondered whether this was the right career for me. But you know, obviously, I got divorced. Polly and I got divorced through that period, and despite the good old-fashioned rumour mill, it was a very tough but a mutual decision which we felt would benefit the children growing up, and you know, I guess subconsciously, and there's I'm not associating any blame with anyone apart from myself. Subconsciously, I guess that takes its toll a little bit, along with the various other things. But yeah, it's been a crazy few years. The main thing is that now with the children growing up, it's a very happy environment for them. Polly and I have a great working relationship, and with training being so all-encompassing, it's a lifestyle. It's not a job, it's a lifestyle. I've found it so important that the children are a part of that, and they are. They love coming here. Polly and I live a mile away from each other, and the children come between us. And I guess I've found some real peace and happiness, and that's probably translated into what we're trying to do here as well.
And we're all motivated by wanting to be successful for our families, for our children. Is that something that helps fuel your day-to-day life?
Do you know what I thought when the children got old enough to come to the yard, and the joy that it brings them coming to the yard? I mean, they love it. I mean, everyone has seen various videos of them in their car and them feeding the horses and them just watching the racing. And do you know what I felt when it wasn't going well? Imagine me having to take them to James Ferguson's yard or George Bowie's yard or Ed Crisford's yard and showing them the horses, because they love seeing the horses. Imagine if I decided that I didn't want to do it anymore and I had to take them to my best friend's yards and show them the horses. And that alone has motivated me more than anything.
You've talked to me about a different approach at the sales, and I think that, to most people that know you, has been central to the turnaround, the transformation in fortune. So can you give us an idea of what strategy is now when you do go to the auction houses? What has been the change?
For me, again, lurking in the shadows for a few years and watching other people's success, it became evident that people love seeing 2-year-old winners. When I have a good 2-year-old winner, my phone beeps and blows up. And if I win a 0 to 90, 0 to 100, 3 or 4-year-old race, you don't get a message. The industry is fast moving, like the world is fast moving. It's here and now. Of course, you get trainers who specialise in horses for further down the line, but that's the position you earn in this game. You've got to cut your cloth with the 2-year-olds. And, you know, we came away from that. I think we had 2 or 3 2-year-old winners in separate years, 3 and 4 2-year-old winners. And last year we had 10, and this year we're cruising on towards 20. And so we had to go and buy that type of horse to make us relevant. And, you know, that's what we've done. And, you know, we found the likes of Rocket Rodney and 4-time winner Coco Jack, 7 Questions this year, Granny Budgie, all multiple winners, all hard as nails, that have run from the start of the season to the end of the season and held their form well.
Granny Budgie wins again.
And Perfect View makes a winning start to his career.
And it's Coco Jack who goes on to win. But 7 Questions will win again.
To say also what we've done, we've looked to trade horses as well. I'd say we've got 5 or 6 horses in the last 18 months that we bought for less than 30,000 or sourced for less than 30,000 and have sold them for more than 125,000. And that brings a whole new element into it as well. We have a trading syndicate where we buy 8 horses, and you know, Billy Webster was a good example of that this year.
Cation call from Billy Webster, they hit the line desperate.
Broker's Maiden first time, got sold well. Seax is a really exciting horse, finished 2nd at Ascot. And you know, we've brought that element into it you know, to give people a potential return on their money and not just a bit of fun. I think when you own a racehorse, it's almost like you support that club. Yeah. I try to say, anyone that owns a horse here has full access really to every other horse in the yard through me, because I've made a conscious decision that I am accessible at all hours. It doesn't work if you're married so well, but as I'm not, I really have work and the children. I am accessible at all, and I've made myself accessible. So those guys have become season ticket holders at George Scott Racing through the thick and the thin, and have almost a way of life around that. Moving on to hopefully another level in future seasons to come, what are the ambitions? What does progress look like into 2024 and beyond? So we want to get the yard full. We've got a little way to go to do that, and we need to train a Group 1 winner quickly, because you really do get associated by those rock star horses, and we've had some good horses but we haven't had a rock star, so we'd love to find one of those. But I think what we've done well in the last couple of years is every horse counts, and we've won pretty much with every horse, so we need to keep winning with every horse. And back to the philosophy and the identity, like, I like to keep the horses busy. You know, the last 2 years, you know, they're kept busy, and they maintain their form. I mean, financially, it's very expensive to have a horse in training, so let's get them out and race them and enjoy them. And we don't do much with them in between. They get turned out, and a lot of these 2-year-olds have run 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. They're improving every start. So yeah, we want to give value for money, enjoy it, but push on hard to the next level, really.
The results back up what the trainer's saying. George Scott Racing has found its identity and confidence. The man at the helm is as positive and determined as ever, and he also seems to be settled in his own mind. Not content, there's a Group 1 quest to pursue, but in a great place to lead George Scott Racing to big days in the future. Here's hoping I'm back here in 2024 to pat that Group 1 winner that George is so hungry to find.